defect because that's what the system needed. This is about foreign banks getting us totally dependent. And I'm going to say this now. This is what the headline should read. No one is saying this. And this is in plain view. I've been saying for 2 years this is a direct tax to the bankers who own the insurance companies over and over and over and over again. In fact, guys, just search the term Obamacare is tax to bankers. Infowars.com. I mean, I'm sure we've named one of the videos that because I know I've said it hundreds of times on air. And now it's finally admitted what it is. And it's not about how I'm right. This is in plain view. They lobby to make you buy it from them, and the government calls it a tax. And if you don't, the Uncle Sam with the IRS collection agency for the Federal Reserve comes and takes your money. So Obamacare is a tax to the Federal Reserve. Everybody's saying it's a tax to the government. It's a tax to the Federal Reserve. Sure, people that are uninsured and stuff, the government's going to be jerking stuff out of your bank account, out of your check, and then you'll get government care. But the rest of it is forcing everyone onto it. So it's a government tax and a Federal Reserve tax. I'm now at the rant point here. And again, this is all run by a bunch of criminals that ship hand grenades to Mexico. I mean, these are terrorists. They're capable of anything. You're not going to play games with this system. They all need to go to jail. And by the way, the truth is starting to come out. I've got a London Telegraph article here. Is it time to consider locking up bankers? Absolutely. Now you're starting to talk. And I don't mean the banker down the street that gives you a loan to buy a tractor or a car or a business. I'm talking about the big 6 mega banks, the ones that lobbied in unison for this Obamacare. And that's all I need to know about it being bad. Okay, now I'm out of control. Let's go ahead and take a phone call here. We'll go to Frank, Ricardo, Matt, Isabella, Carolyn, and others. Frank in Washington, D.C., the District of Slimebag Criminals. You're on the air. What's your take on all this?
Hey, Alex, I want to know what you think about the possibility of Justice Roberts being on heavy medication when he made this.
It's admitted he's on medication. Do you know what anti-seizure medication, the type that he was reportedly on, Depakote and other stuff, turns you into a zombie? Listen, I said back at the time when they were having him approval, he looked like he was on a bunch of meds. I mean, I've been around drug heads. He looks like a stinking junkie. I'm sorry, go ahead.
He's got that look in his eyes, and
it looks like I want to slap him upside the head. I'm sick of all these dumb people. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's just what I think's going on. I think he's on the meds. He's in the pocket. I'll take my response off the air.
No, I hear you. I think you just said it. I mean, he's just another ding-dong. Look who they put in there. They're a bunch of weirdos, like a bunch of Igors or something, in the little clown outfit, little black outfits. Let's talk to Ricardo in New York. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. First of all, I wanted to say I really agree with like everything you're saying about this and your points and stuff. And I actually had something I wanted to say that I was going to say earlier, but you're kind of running short on time and you cut me off.
Go ahead, and I'm going to cut you off now, sir. We're talking about health care. I remember you. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead. What is it? Everybody wants me to screen their call on air. We don't screen them, brother.
Well, I'm part of a resistance team. Like, my friends and I are part of a resistance team.
Good.
And we have something that's sort of urgent that we'd like to talk to you about, like, privately after the show.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I appreciate your call, sir. I can hardly talk to my wife after the show. Okay? I got stuff lined up from here to Timbuktu, but let me just say this, and I don't physically mean I want to slap Roberts upside the head. I mean figuratively, these people that are in these dazes everywhere, just shuffling around. I'm tired of you. My dad's got a dental office, so they mail in those Southern Poverty Law Center intelligence reports. They send them to barbershops everywhere, and it's like Alex Jones, evil leader of horribleness, and imagines there's a world government forming, and here's a law enforcement CD that comes with it. I gave it to Kurt earlier in the week. We haven't done a report on it. All because I just see what's happening. I mean, a moron could see what's going on. Okay, I'm now ranting. I'm venting on air. Let's go to Matt In Ohio, Matt, you are on the air. Are you burning inside, or are you getting ready like all those Obama supporters 4 years ago about, thank you, Mr. President, I'm getting a free house and a free car now. Of course, they didn't get it, and you're not going to get free health care either unless it's, you know, euthanasia and Prozac. What are you thinking right now? Are you pretty excited?
I'm pretty sick. I actually had an upset stomach all day yesterday, even just about all this stuff.
You don't like the IRS going to have your medical records and take money out of your account for a whole new reason? And you don't like the bankers running your life? Come on.
Absolutely not. AKA the Inland Revenue Service.
Yes.
But anyway, there was two things that I wanted to bring up. One is actually kind of with the health care. There was a speech back in, I think, 1969 by Dr. Day that went through this entire thing that they're going to do. And I'm sure you're probably familiar with it. But, yeah, it talks about how they're going to take over healthcare and everything. I mean, step by step. It even has stuff above that. They said that they're going to release the new financial market on a weekend, and it's going to be like in winter. And it spells everything out. And if you've never seen it, it's something that maybe you should look up. It's definitely worth looking at. But,
I think I've heard of that speech. In fact, isn't there's text of it? Is there a video of that?
No, there actually, when they did this speech, he asked for all recording devices to be turned off and not to take any notes, but there was one person that actually took all the notes, and he released. Well,
it doesn't matter now. It all happened. I mean, they were already setting up socialist health care back in the 50s in different countries. Good points. Good to hear from you. Let's go to Carolyn in Tennessee. You're on the air. Welcome.
Hi. Alex, last time I talked to you, I was pretty upset because the hospital I was working for was going to force us to take the flu shot to maintain our position. And I just wanted to talk to you about a couple things, but I wanted to fill you on what happened there. I just decided I was fed up and I left, but I don't think anybody else quit.
Well, number one, hospitals cannot make you take a vaccine. That's law. But they lie and try to tell you it's the law. Then if you say no, they go, you have to wear a mask now like you're diseased and bad because you don't take a flu shot that has never protected you from the flu. It never is the right mutation they pick a year out and is linked to all sorts of neurological problems, from narcolepsy to seizures to you name it. I mean, it's just all a hoax, all a fraud.
Well, they did it. And the last time I was in the hospital, they had one of the nurses running around with a mask on. They wouldn't let me wear a mask because I'm not allergic to eggs. And I couldn't come up with a religious, out on it. So I saw a nurse run around with a mask. She's allergic to eggs. But you told me the masks aren't any good anyway. So it's like this big farce.
Ma'am, the mask is to act like you're a leper or like, Nazi Germany wearing a yellow star. It's all theater. It's all shunning. They're like, you won't let us shoot you up with whatever we want. So now, we're going to make you wear a dunce hat. Thank you so much. All right, we're just going to go through call after call straight ahead. 800-259-9231. Let me know what you think.
We're on the march.
We're updating Infowars.com right now. I was just on DrudgeReport.com that we check continually, just like we check Infowars.com continually. And saw the big headline about, in fact, we can put it up on screen for people watching on TV, but for radio listeners, you can just go there. The big red link is wiretaps in Fast and Furious. And when I saw that, I'm like, well, yeah, didn't I see that a few days ago? Because it is now June 29th, but because the roll call link wouldn't work because it's getting, the top Drudge link's the biggest link on the internet. That's the biggest traffic link you can get. So it's shut down roll call. But I was like, wait, I already saw that. This is just confirming what's happening is the Congress and ISA into the congressional record is confirming what the Examiner broke. You got to give them credit, back on June 12th, that indeed, in fact, they even had articles before that, that they had the recordings confirming that basically Holder was in command of the operation. Wait a minute. Guys, I asked for this earlier in the week. We're so busy we forgot. They're pulling it off YouTube. Will you go get Dew to give you our reports from like 6 months ago, proof that White House was running Fast and Furious, and it's their press conferences, Janet Napolitano and Holder admitting it. We'll air those. In fact, I'll play them with Serpico when he comes up. The point is that's proof. When we don't even need wiretaps. They admit they were running the program then. They just didn't say what it entailed. And then they're like, we knew nothing. We didn't know this was happening. But the point is, that roll call link wouldn't work. So I went and found this, and Emmo's posting it right now. Revealed secret wiretap tapes, trouble for Attorney General Eric Holder and DOJ. And I've got the article here. I'm looking for who the writer is on this. I remember seeing it at the time. And its anonymous source presented secret wiretap applications last week to the chairman of the Congressional Committee, which could spell disaster to Attorney General Holder. You know, I know who first told me about this. Now I just remembered. And they said Judge Roll getting shot and that congresswoman was actually tied to this. And then get me, we need to get on the show. What's happening is I'm just thinking this all out on air because there's no time to do it off air. Wayne Madsen. See if you can get Wayne Madsen on like the last 10 minutes of the show today, because I remember him talking about his source that had wiretaps. And it was fantastical, but I mean, this was like 3-4 months ago on the nightly news. He covered that. Wow. Wow. So the point is they've got wiretaps of this. Of course, Wayne Madsen worked for the NSA. Anonymous sources presented secret wiretap applications last week to the chairman of the Congressional Committee. And that's Issa. And now Issa went into the congressional record today and said he has these wiretaps. So the reason this news is so big that Roll Call's covering up there on Capitol Hill, they're the paper that covers that for folks that don't know. What's called Roll Call, hence how they vote. It's called the Roll Call. They're reporting that he's confirming he's got this. So that is huge news. But the story, Roll Call doesn't really have much info. The story's in the Examiner. And I wonder how they got all this. Anonymous sources presented secret wiretap applications last week to the chairman of the Congressional Committee, which could spell disaster to Attorney General Eric Holder, Fast and Furious defense. The evidence reveals high-level Department of Justice officials approved the gun-walking tactics that could have led to the death of U.S. Border Patrol agent. It's more than one. The committee has been trying for 15 months to get information from Holder, who has used every legal and arguably illegal means to stall the committee from furthering their investigation with information from the Department of Justice. Man, this is turning into Nixon stuff, but Nixon was just stealing some medical records. According to The Hill, indicate the secret documents reveal high-level DOJ officials knew about the approval for the gun-walking tactics. Yesterday, Representative Darrell Issa said the investigation panel would vote next week to hold Holder in contempt of Congress. And again, they did that later. Took about 2 weeks, a week and a half. The Justice Department is out of excuses, he went on to say, and it goes on to talk about the reported wiretaps. So there you go. And again, I don't have enough writers. I'm trying to hire all these reporters. I need to hire more writers who understand all this, just because the guys I have are great, but they're busy just posting stuff, writing stuff. Because we haven't even tooted our horn, which is not what we wanted to. You can get killed doing this. But we haven't even put out our articles now that the Washington Post is responding to White House drug dealing in Fast and Furious, but acting like it's a conspiracy theory when it's been in major newspapers. Again, Chicago Tribune, El Paso Times, things like that. By the time it hits the pages of the Washington Post publication, foreignpolicy.com, it's just like, oh, well, Wayne LaPierre says he thinks it's true, and so does a big libertarian banker that this writer met with. And, you know, yeah, it's common knowledge they think in Mexico the U.S. government runs it. Yeah, the criminal elements. I mean, this stuff is so near the surface now. We are just millimeters from all of this coming out. Millimeters from all of this coming out. So we'll get the article out of Roll Call, the link to it, but it's down, but we were able to get the text part of that, and then we'll put it up there with a link to the Examiner up at Infowars.com.